That's the gunshot. Hey.
Right. That's not big, that's fat.
We're good, yeah? It feels weird doing it like this.
Well,
It feels like there's I don't know, everything just feels off.
How do you normally do it? You're out of your comfort zone. That's what life's about, isn't it?
Where do you normally stand?
No, we normally sit
I normally sit here.
Yeah. He's got a stiff neck.
Oh.
Right, hello and welcome to the Curious Fijian. I'm here today, Matthew Spring. Am I right to call you Matty though?
You can call me that if you want.
I don't know, the full names is a bit...
Springy,
Onion. He's got loads.
You call me Matt, that's fine.
The switcheroo, two sides.
big man.
And then we've got Liam George, who's co-hosting for us today.
Oh, co-host?
Yeah, you're co-host. You're filling in for the big boy. He's behind the camera.
Big shoes to fill in.
We've only got a small sofa.
Because he comes out, he comes out with the most outlandish stuff.
Big sliders to fill.
Yeah.
Big sliders.
But Matthew, obviously, Matty, obviously, we'll start off with your Luton Town career. Obviously, I'm sure that's where you first started growing up in Harlow. Did you ever play for Harlow?
No, I played in and around Harlow, but mainly because I went to school in Broxbourne in Hertfordshire.
Yeah.
So mainly I was a Hertfordshire boy, football-wise.
And
not
then
Harlow.
Straight to Luton from there.
No, it's a bit of a slow process, really. I was at school. I was still playing Sunday League football at 15, and then my career kind of took off from 15 to 17, really. So within a year and 18 months, I was playing. I'd made my debut from at 17.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it took off in those from 15 to 17. It just took off really.
So was you in the same age group when you were there?
Year above me.
Year above. But you would have been both in the first team at the same time.
Yeah, we've done that, but we obviously he's a year above me, YTS wise. So we both got YTS obviously a year before me.
Yeah.
So he was the second year, I was the first year when I come into the building.
And also, what he's not saying, he was obviously extremely gifted, so he always played up an age. Didn't bother going to school either, so he'd be in and around the football club all the time, playing with a 16-year-old who was 15 because he used to sack off school and come training. So fundamentally, from 15, 16, he was already outperforming 16, 17-year-olds at that stage. So
would you say your youth career coming into football was quite a smooth, just run in?
Yeah, I suppose it was, but later, like there's a couple of Gary Doherty, for example. He was at Luton from 8, 9, and he'd stayed at Luton all that time and then done really well that way. But I think, I don't know, I suppose whatever way you get there. Do you know what I mean? Like some of them do it from now. You got kids at 6 and 7 at academies and stuff like that. Yeah. But I was a late developer, I suppose, at 15, getting spotted at 15. So I was only playing a county game over at Harpenden. Yeah. And luckily the Luton Town youth team manager brought some of the boys because they go to college on a Thursday, and the game was on a Thursday night, and he brought them to watch, and it went from there. And just straight in. Yeah.
I when I look at football, I think that's a better way to go in than to go through being like we had Todd Kane on, who's plays for Coventry City, but he from 8 years old he was at Chelsea, so 8, 9, 10, and you're kind of wrapped in cotton wool in that system of like he can't look on his Instagram and stuff like that because of comments and all of this sort of stuff. But you've lived a normal life and then become a professional footballer. So do you think that's a better way to go in?
I wouldn't say it's a better way, but I don't know. Maybe maybe I learned more. I had more life skills than that, and like you say, they get wrapped up in cotton wool and they don't. But then, all they think about is football. Maybe I didn't go along that way. Maybe it only kicked in till I was a little bit older, thinking this could be serious. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. It's just a different way of doing it.
I'm an outcome guy. The outcome's still the same, isn't it? Everyone wants to be a professional footballer. What I don't think you do is you don't go, oh my God, at 10 I haven't made it. I haven't. So there's loads of stories. Jamie Vardy 22, Ian Wright 24, Charlie Austin. So I think what you've got to do is, if you love the game, and let's just say you've got to be good enough, but everybody's journey is completely different. I mean, mine and Matthew's are quite similar. I think if I would have been in the academy any younger, a lot of my kind of street football, my kind of flicks and stuff that made me successful may have been coached out of me because it was very strict in how you did things and very structured. And I first went to a football club at 11 and I didn't like the structure. I liked the street element. I liked the playing against bigger boys. So I think it depends on the personality. It depends on the footballer, but the outcome is all that matters. We all want to play professional football, right? So fundamentally, if we get there, how you got there is irrelevant. Yeah.
So how was your when you look back at your time at Luton, how because obviously you had 2 spells at Luton with Watford and Leeds in between.
Yep.
So how was your actual experience with Luton?
What, starting as a youth?
Starting from the youth.
Well, it kind of shapes you, really, doesn't it? I suppose, because I left school. Luckily knowing what I had a 2-year apprenticeship, so I knew for 2 years I was going to be doing that anyway. And then I suppose you see how that pans out then 2 years. And I was lucky that in the first year I got offered a pro at 17. So I didn't do my second year YTS. I got a pro at 17 because I could only sign pro at 17. So luckily that happened, and then I signed another. So that was 2 years. So again, I knew another 2 years I'll be good. I'll be all right. So stable, and that I'd something to do for another 2 years, and then it just went from there. So I ended up doing 7 years, I think.
Yeah.
At Luton, from 17 to 24.
And then you left, and then you done another 2 or 3 years.
Then what did I do then? I went to Leeds, didn't I, for 18 months, I think. Then Watford, and then come back.
So how was it like actually coming back from Watford? Because especially them days, it must have been. Did you get shit off the fans and stuff like that?
Obviously, there's a lot of people, I think, that got a lot worse than I did, but I think mine was okay, if that makes sense. You always get some. Yeah. You'll always get some that won't be happy because, you've done this, you've done that. But
didn't Tony Thorpe do it as well?
Well, no, I was just about to mention Thorpe, but Thorpe's Luton fans hate Thorpe.
Yeah, they still sing about him now.
I think because he went QPR.
Yeah.
It was that QPR thing. So, that's what I mean. So, Thorpe's not liked at all. But I think I kind of swerved that, and it was okay.
Maybe because you come back as well.
I think it's more a personality thing.
I don't know,
He's really humble. Thorpe was in your face. He would score against Luton and celebrate, and stick it in your face. Matty's one of those that he's quiet, does his job, and also he's given most Luton fans the best moment of their life. So when he scored that goal against Watford, which everybody talks about, I mean, one of our friends got arrested and done a little time in prison for that goal. Yeah. It was absolute madness, and it's kind of folklore in the town. So that's why I think that, because he'd performed against them, and I don't think, did you ever play against Watford to Luton? Did it go that way ever?
Yeah.
Oh, did you
played,
really?
Yeah. So I played at Kenilworth Road for Watford. Yeah.
Did you win or how?
I think we beat them 2-1. But the day before that, on the Friday, I got pulled on the Friday. You know what's happening on the Friday. So I got pulled in, and we're playing Luton next day. I didn't play. It didn't start me. I started every game. I played 40. The year we went up at the Championship, I played 43, I think, give or take, 43 out of 6 games. Yeah. And that was the one he said he was going to arrest me for that game. So that was a nightmare, because I had to warm up.
I'd have been fuming.
I had to warm up. That's the worst place to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the worst place. This
right
next to the pitch. You're in the middle of it, and no one's like, and especially at Luton, it's so tight, isn't it? So you got to warm up, and you're running up and down the side, and there's people like in them boxes, like there above you as well. It's like, fucking hell. So I had to enjoy that as well. But I think I come on. I think I come on for about 15, 20 minutes of that game. But I think we beat them at Kenilworth Road and drew 1-1 at Vicarage Road.
Does it make a difference for the player getting benched for a game because they see it as a sentimental game? Oh, you might have like a bit of an emotional attachment. I don't think you're going to perform. Like they've done it to Grealish against Aston Villa on the last day of the season. So do you think it would have actually made a difference for you when you were playing?
I don't know. It's a tough one to answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some of them, it's a tough. You just don't know emotionally how you're gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
But it's a tough one.
Did you
me,
start
I think I would have been
the reverse fixture? At
Vicarage Road.
Yes, maybe it was. It must have just been because you were there.
Yeah. So I did. I played that one. Yeah.
But let's go to the goal. Obviously, scoring against Watford. We talk about the adrenaline. I asked you when I first ever met you about the adrenaline of scoring a goal in front of fans. What was that feeling like, scoring it in such a big game?
Well, it's not. I think it doesn't really hit you till afterwards. The impact that you have on other people. Even 18, 19 years now, and that goal flicks up like every year. Somebody repost that goal, and has done for the last 18, 19 years. I think it was 18 years or something. So I think it's just that after. But when you score a goal like that, you're in the moment. It's like when people ask you about the crowd. Oh, do you really you play in front of 60, 70,000 people? You don't really notice them. I know it sounds stupid. You don't really notice them that they're there. But when you score goals like that, you're just like, okay, it was all right. And then you hear people talking about it and you think, oh, maybe it was a bit better than all right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
it
it
just
makes
kind of in flow
yeah.
state.
Yeah.
He's messing around, mate.
He's got to be. Yeah, I'm sitting here listening. I'm sitting here listening, and I'm thinking, I score on Sunday League, and I'm hitting a griddy.
Do you know what? Some people are like, he's like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back and listen, he'll never say that. If you look at his highlight reels of goals, they're a joke. He's scoring bangers from everywhere. I can't even kick the ball from outside the box. Do you know what I mean? Like just it's going to trickle over the line. He's just one of those guys that when he hits the ball, he hits it so well, and he used to do it all the time. So for him, maybe it's something that it's just something I do.
Well, you're a lefty.
No, right-footed I am naturally, yeah.
But again, I guess it's personality types. I'm like you. I score a goal. I listen, you're knowing about it. I want to stuff it down your
I would have gone
throat.
into the fans.
No,
I would have gone into the
done that.
fans.
It was too far away. So if you watch that goal,
I'll bring it up when we're obviously in the pod. I'll bring it up.
and you watch that goal, and I've scored at that end, and then Luton fans, and obviously it kicked off before the game and all that. Like
was that when they went on the pitch?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff?
So that
And
was before
everyone.
we
Loads
were
of
warming
people
up. Yeah, we were warming up then. Yeah, they done like dawn raids on everyone and stuff like that for that thing. So yeah, so we were warming up, and obviously that happened. So I'm like going back towards the Luton fans. So I scored in that end, run round like that, going back there. I think, I better stop now. Got to like the 18-yard box and the other in the pitch. I better come back now. This is getting a bit silly. Where do I go? I can't go no further.
The atmosphere must have been mental.
Yeah, but that's the first. I think that was the first time in 10 years, was it, that they actually played? I know it was a cup game, it wasn't a league. Obviously, they'd been out of. Different leagues, sorry. So that's the first time in about 10 years, I think it was 10 years that they'd actually played against each other.
That atmosphere must have been absolutely.
And then being at Vicarage Road as well, because obviously that holds more as well. So I think I was 20,000 Vicarage Road.
Did they give Luton the whole end, or did they just?
Had the whole end, cup game, wasn't it? So they had the whole end. Yeah, so they had to divvy up percentage.
They shouldn't have done that. Carnage, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's
but I think that's what they.
I
I think that's what they got to do. But I don't know.
But that's why some people got in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You
Yeah,
just cannot control your emotions. It's crazy. And didn't wait there. That was at Kenilworth Road, no? The one that you scored where they were behind the goal. Did you score twice against Watford or once?
No. Only Vicarage Road, that one. Well, yeah, no. Vicarage
That's a blur to me. That's how.
Yeah.
Was you in the Luton team around?
No, I'd been sacked off.
Yeah.
I was somewhere licking my wounds. I hate this lot.
Well, that's another question as well. I will go back onto the football, but obviously you two were close in the team. So what was it like for you, Matt, experiencing like one of your teammates go through a hard time in his career?
I don't know. It's weird because you see it's tough. Even more so now, I'd say, that people just going in and out of football was so. Back in the day, I think you had a bit of a more longevity in it, but now it just seems to be a turnover of people is so quick, and you get to. I'm one of them anyway. I've only got probably 2 or 3 that I still speak to out of everyone I've sat in a dressing room, which must be thousands of people I've sat in a dressing room with over 20 years. So I've only got a couple of close friends I actually speak to. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard to keep in touch with people and stuff like that. But I think things just happen, don't they, like that? And you're in it together, and then you kind of drift apart a little bit as well.
Yeah.
He's a nightmare. I was saying to him, we played with him. We played 20 games ago. Remember this guy? He's looking at me going, no, I don't. I'm like, what do you mean? He came into our youth team. He was on trial for 3 months. Because I'm a bit like an elephant. I remember everyone. I remember lots of things happening. But he's not. He's completely opposite. He's just like, oh, no, I can't remember that.
Relaxed.
A lot of times he's not even in the room. He's just, whatever.
Lots happened.
Yeah,
in the last 25 years.
I'll be naming. What about this place? Remember that time? Don't remember it. And it makes me frustrated because I'm like, surely you got to remember that. Yeah. But I guess obviously he's married to my sister, so we've remained close over the years. But again, being out of it and your close friends and the people you grew up with still being in it, I think that's the hardest part that nobody talks about, because you've just lost not only your career, but you lost all your mates. You know, they're still doing it every week. They're still doing the thing you love, but the connection gets lost. You know, the conversations every day, being around people every single day. I think that's a lot harder than the football and the fans and all the rest of it. It's your mucker's gone.
Yeah.
You know,
and so. Yeah, but then what's it like on the reverse end for you? Like you touched on it there a bit, but you're seeing all your teammates go on, have brilliant careers, stuff like. I don't want to say jealousy, but is there a bit of like, oh, I wish I could have done that. I wish that could have been me. What?
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, and a lot of people might resonate with this. Saturday afternoons were really, really hard for a long while, until I probably got to 35, And I thought, well, everyone's kind of retiring now. But you're almost watching the vidi print with this, I don't want to say rage, but you're seeing names crop up that you play with that maybe you think you're better than, you're very familiar with. You know, your friends are still doing it. So it can pull you in different ways. Listen, I'm happy for all of my friends. I want them to achieve everything. And we had a really good nucleus of boys. I think because of my experience, I lent more towards, there was lads that got kicked out that were good people. You know, so you kind of say, he's all right. Springy will always be all right because he's in the game and he's doing everything he loves. So I don't have to worry about him. But I have to worry about some of the lads that it was everything to them and now it's nothing. So you kind of, you're not jealous of the boys playing. You almost don't need to worry about them. Do you know what I mean? They're cool. But all of the lads that fall out for whatever reason, they're the ones you kind of think, I hope he's all right. And you kind of band together sometimes and go, well, how do we get through this? You know, and that I think that's the toughest part.
We're just interrupting this podcast for a quick sponsorship break. This sponsor is a sponsor we use ourselves. You don't get the best logos or thumbnails unless you head over to our brother at Ollie D Graphics on Instagram. He does everything, ranging from logo designs, illustrations, animations, and much, much more. Head over to his Instagram, shoot him a little DM, say the Fijian sent you, or the Ginge. He might even chuck in a little extra. With excellent customer service, brilliant pricing, it really, really is a no-brainer. All his links are in the description, whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify. And now we get back with the pod. Thank you.
You might have to wave it here. There you go. He's not moving enough.
I'd lift this up just a tiny bit more as well.
All right,
yeah,
there you
like
go.
that.
Sorry, pal.
I will get you a mic next time.
Cheers,
one
pal.
that clips onto your thing.
Clip on.
But obviously Mick Hartford would have been around the squad when you were there as well. Was he assistant coach for a long time and used there? What was it like playing under him? And I suppose you weren't really a Luton fan, was you? So maybe you didn't have that feeling towards him. But Mick Hartford, he was a big name, wasn't he, in football?
Still
anyway.
is.
Yeah.
Still is.
So
He's probably the first name you think of when you think of Luton. So, yeah.
I'll say Ricky Hill. I ain't going down that route, so shut up.
Well, okay, all right. Not me personally, but Luton people would say Mick is probably the biggest name at the moment. I'd say at Luton, but I don't know.
So what was your experience like playing under him or him being around the squad?
He didn't really have a big influence on my career. Do you know what I mean? He come in. He was Mick come back in when he was under Joe Kinnear as assistant manager under Joe. So Mick took all the training and Joe just kind of stayed around in the background really. So Mick had kind of free reign really to do whatever he want. So as I say, Joe just, I don't even know if he picked the team. Mick might have even been just picking the team. I don't know.
Nah, Mick weren't picking the team.
So.
No, he weren't.
So yeah, well I don't know. I never saw the manager, so you never know. You never knew till Saturday when you was in the dressing room what was going on. But no, yeah, Mick was all right. He some good sessions, and it was all right.
And with you, what was your experience like?
I had a love-hate relationship with Mick for a variety of different reasons.
So do I. I think he still hates me because I left. I told him I wanted to leave. So I think
was this the Leeds? We'll come. We'll come.
No,
back
second time.
Was this second time?
I told him when we got deducted 30 points.
Oh, so you were around then?
Yeah. So I said, this is, and I was on there. At the first time, I think I grew some bollocks and said, look, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah.
You told me this. This ain't happened. So I said, look, and we had a meeting once. I remember this bit. We had a meeting and we were over at Electrolux.
Right, yeah.
We was in Electrolux where we used to train when we were, well, you would have done. I did a couple of times when we were like 14, 15. And yeah, they'd put some port cabins in. So anyway, we were in a meeting, and he give it the old, anyone don't want to, anyone don't want to be here, let me know. What's that? Me, and he, you know, his face was like, oh shit, he's already told me he don't want to be here. So I was like one of them. All right, I'll speak to you after. Then I spoke to him after. He said, "There's nothing I can do."
Did a lot of people leave? Well, you would have wanted.
They had. I think a few had to, obviously, because of money reasons. But I don't think a lot wanted to. But I'd kind of come to the end of, and I was like, no, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But anyway, listen. At the end of the day, 30 points is a lot. But if you have a good season, you could still stay up. Do you know what I mean? If you get 80 odd points, Take the 30 off, you should still survive.
But 80 points for
80, 85.
Luton, it's like
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good going.
Though,
It's good going. That's got to be top 4. Like, do you know what I mean? That's got to be
Yeah.
top 2.
Derby
That's got to be
were quite
promotion.
close.
You got to be.
Derby were close,
It's got to be promotion form. So you've got to have a really good season, and then obviously you don't only just stay up because take the 30 off, you'd end up on 56ish or whatever. If you stay around that, you'd have stayed up. So if we'd have had a good season, we could have done it.
So what's the impact like as a player when? Because like you said, you don't sign up for stuff like that. People at the top shouldn't be.
Yeah, it is tough, but you don't go onto the pitch thinking about we're 30 points. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got to win. You just go and see what happens. I think it's one of those. You don't really take that onto the pitch, but it's all the stuff that goes off the pitch. You know what I mean? It don't help.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All that nonsense. So yeah, it does affect what goes on the pitch, and then obviously the crowd as well. They're not happy, are they, with what's going on and stuff like that? So yeah, it does affect you. I suppose.
Just the whole energy around the club.
Yeah, the whole thing's down on everything, isn't it? So. Yeah.
And that was the end of your Luton career. So did that just kind of put a dampener on? Do you still look at your Luton career and think, nah, overall it was good, or does it kind of put a dampener on it a little bit?
No, it was all right. It's like obviously I'll always have a little bit of a affection for Luton because it was where I started. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and there was good times and bad times. You know what I mean? Playing some good teams, some bad teams. Got relegated, got promoted. So yeah, a bit of everything thrown in that first 7 years I was there. And even when I went back, it was all right. Of them 2 seasons that I was there, we'd done okay. We had a good little cup run. We didn't obviously do as well as I thought we probably should have done with the players we had. Do you know what I mean? We had a few good players, but obviously didn't perform to where we should have. But no, it was all right. It was all right.
And then for you, like your relationship with Mick.
Listen, I wasn't love-hate. It was just I've always been someone that I need to understand what's going on, and I'd not refused to sign a contract. I was wanting to negotiate with Joe, my agent, and that's what I was advised. And then you've got him never turning up for training. You've got Mick putting on training sessions. And listen, I cannot knock his coaching. He's not a bad coach whatsoever. I don't think he develops people personally, but there was this really strange thing. We would play passing drills all day long in training, and you'd set up and your keeper would roll it out and you'd play all this football, and then on a Saturday Joe would come in and say launch it.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, Mick, why are we doing this if on Saturday we're doing completely different things? And your head's melted, do you know what I mean? Because you're training one way and you're playing a completely different way. It's a bit like, I'd put it in boxing terms, like being a defensive fighter, doing all your training there and then just going out and swinging haymakers. The training's meant to complement the game. But so he was putting on sessions, and it was almost like those two must not have spoke about football, because you were like, well, this is completely opposite. And luckily, there were some very, very good footballers at Luton. That's why they'd done okay, because if you look at that nucleus of players, they were all probably a league, 2 leagues better than the actual league. So it wasn't down to tactics, and it wasn't down to, pattern of play or anything. It was just because they had damn good footballers. Yeah. And that used to melt my head, because I was still like 19, 20, wanting to get better. I was going through a bad patch in my career as well. And I just didn't feel like I had any support. And whenever I faced Joe up, Mick would always be on his shoulder. You ain't fighting Mick Arthur, no. He's the toughest guy. And it was like, you're kind of looking, and I'm like, Mick, I'm a Luton boy. I ain't having none of this. I'll get people to come and chop you down. I'm not, so you don't scare me like that. But get out of my way type thing, because I had a couple of run-ins with Joe in the changing rooms, and he would always just be in eye shot.
See, I think with obviously knowing you over the last couple of years and having conversations and that, I don't think I said this to Rain actually before, I think your personality, or what it sounds like it would have been then, doesn't suit football. It doesn't. I feel like in football, they want people to be a certain way and do a certain thing and kind of get on with it and
yes,
play.
Man, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah, to an extent. And I think that with your personality and you say how you feel, they don't like that, so they want to get rid of you. I think it's changing now because of all the young players coming in. But I think at that time of football, it would have been, if you're not a yes man, we don't want you around because you're trouble. I
think it depends on your managers, and I think that's the art of management. The better managers can manage personalities. They can manage individuals, because we are all us two are completely different. Like, he used to get called out and he don't stick up for himself. And I used to lose my head. Yeah. So the two players in the dressing room, certainly in the Joe era, Emerson Boyce and Matthew Spring, were by far the best 2 players in the team. So when I'm coming in at half time, and even I'm not even playing, right? And you're sitting around, and you're hearing someone moan at Springy, and he won't say anything because he doesn't even care what they're saying. Do you know what I mean?
He seems like he's just calm. He's
just
scoring
drinking his
bangers
drink.
against Watford, and he's like, I ain't going to go over to the fans.
Stop hitting the long ball. And then Joe will say about keeping the ball. So that it was the noisier ones that Joe liked, he would always favour. And then he would dig Boycey out, and he would dig Springy out, and I'd be like, hold on a minute. Don't be stupid. We can all see with our eyes. Those two are head and shoulders, are saving people all over the place. Don't be digging them out. So I used to get my back up, because one thing I don't like in life, I don't like bullies. Whether he wants to stick up, whether he even cares, I can't sit in a room and have somebody do an injustice to someone else. There's just something in me that just goes off a little bit. And I'm like, you can't do that. It's just not fair. And that's probably got me in lots of trouble. I think my mum's a bit like that. Listen, I can handle it myself. Pick on me. I've got big enough shoulders.
Must be the Irish.
Must be something. But I really didn't get on well with that. And I think that comes back down to management styles. I think, listen, there were great managers back in the day that had some absolute Fruit Loop people. You know, I just think if you get the wrong manager, Lenny Lawrence dealt with me really well. Ricky Hill knew how to deal with me, you know, because I was a questioner. Why? Why are we doing that? It's got to make sense. You know, how am I going to get better? How, why? Yeah, a bit annoying, but they knew how to do that. But it was like, nah, shut up, get on with it. And I just couldn't cope with that element of, you ain't telling me what to do. And that's probably where I struggled. I think it's more management styles versus personalities, and it didn't work.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. If you haven't heard already, it's Smooth Sack Summer. When you're playing in the summer sun, make sure you're scaped from pubes to bum. The leader in below the belt grooming is making sure we all have a ball this summer by giving our pants partners everything they need to stay fresh. Dive head first into Smooth Sack Summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with code Fijian. People, the performance package is the package I have, and it's the package I recommend to everyone. In this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, crop preserver ball deodorant, crop reviver toner, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your goodies. Honestly, people, the Lawnmower 4.0 is the best in the business. You'll be going over them nuts like a rally driver. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code Fijian at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with code Fijian at manscaped.com. It's Smooth Sack Summer, boys. Get on the board or get left behind. But back to you, Springy. Obviously, you've played at some massive clubs: Sheffield, Charlton, Leeds, Watford, Luton. Who, I would say Wickham and stuff like that, but I don't think Wickham's really. They're not a I would love to play at Wickham. I'm not knocking it, but they're not like a massive club on that list.
You went, I'm not going to disrespect anyone, but I'm just going to disrespect Wickham I
know Duncan's watching. I know he supports Wickham, and I'm just saying, listen, they ain't the biggest club, but what was the biggest club for you playing for? Like, who did you feel like, I need to perform because this is a massive club?
Leeds. Leeds is like the biggest because obviously when I went there, they just come out of the Premier League, and I was injured really when I went there. I just had my groin done, and my rehab over the summer wasn't great. I was kind of left to my own devices because I knew I was leaving anyway or trying to get out. So I went up there, and everything was all right. I was managing what I was doing. Obviously, told people that I just had this, just that, and I got through pre-season, and I got done quite well actually. Done quite well. You got to remember they just come out of the Premier League as well, so there's still some big boys around the place at the time. Do you know what I mean? So I was training. Everything went all right pre-season, but yeah, you see, like when you look at it, actually, it was probably 4 or 5 internationals still playing. Like you had Lucas Radaby, Gary Kelly, Michael Dewberry, Eric Backer, Seth Johnson. Seth went for like 12.5 million, didn't he, to Leeds? So there was some serious players there. So yeah, you have to up your game. You have to up your game when you're training with boys like that. Do you know what I mean? Aaron Lennon was there. So there was a good bunch of players at that. And then I got injured. We played Valencia the week before the season started.
And he scored a worldie. That's the game.
Yeah.
Another worldie, isn't it?
Yeah, I scored a free
Don't
kick.
look at that goal as well.
As I done that, I scored that one. My groin went again. My groin went again. So that was me for about that's probably the longest I've been out actually. About 2 months, I think it was, before I got back playing again. That's
the longest you've been out in your whole career.
Yeah,
2 months.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I've been lucky. So that was the longest I've probably been out. But yeah, so Leeds would have been like even like when we done pre-season, like we done a signing at pre-season, we were there for 6 hours, 7 hours, 15,000 people turned up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just incredible. We went pre-season. We went over to Norway pre-season. Same thing. We had 7,500 at a game.
Yeah. What's
Some
the
people don't play in
atmosphere
front of
like
that.
in that sort of stadium?
Yeah, brilliant. The only thing is they weren't. I'd love to have been when they opened up I don't think they ever did. I don't think they ever opened up the top stat. Like obviously now it's full completely. I don't think I ever played under it full. But no, I did go to. I'll tell you what one of the biggest was Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough.
Yeah.
That's one of them where you think, oh, this is a good atmosphere. Do you know what I mean? Where you actually, because I didn't play, I didn't start the game, so you can actually sit there and you take that side of it in instead of being on the pitch and not really noticing it. But yeah, no, that was probably one of the biggest. That derby was probably the biggest atmosphere that I'd. But team wise and club is Leeds. You know what I mean? It's just massive.
What was the biggest crowd you ever played in front of?
Playoff final. Yeah, playoff final. 79,000, I think it was. 78,000, something like that. Yeah. So that was against Leeds as well.
Yeah. For Sheffield.
No, for Watford.
For Watford.
Yeah. So I just left Leeds to go to Watford, and we played them in the final. So it all kind of.
Didn't you score a pen in that?
No, I didn't score. I made the penalty, but I didn't score it. But yeah, so
did Watford go up from that?
Yeah. So that's what.
Oh, so you've played in the Prem?
Yeah. So that's what we got promoted into. Yeah. So we won the Championship final. Yeah, and got promoted into the Prem 2006.
That must be. Yeah. Sometimes I like coming in with. I like half and not half, because when you get told something, you're like, oh.
Yeah. So that was that's the biggest crowd I've played in front of. So, but the only I've missed out on playing at Wembley, which is unfortunate.
Was that not at Wembley?
No, it was at Cardiff because Wembley was getting done.
Okay.
So when there was reconstruction or whatever was getting done at Wembley. So yeah. So that's the only probably downside that we didn't play.
So with playing in the Prem, how did you find playing in the Prem then? Did it suit your game more? Because obviously, like Liam said before, he felt like he had a better game.
You kind of adapt. Unfortunately, I didn't get. I don't think I got the opportunity that I deserved in the Premier League. AD made, I think, some choices that I didn't agree with. Obviously, brought a couple of players in that I didn't think were as good as me and couldn't do what I could do. But he went with them, and so I only ended up playing 7 games, I think, that season. And then that's when I come back to January. Again, a bit hasty. I should have just stayed at Watford because I would have been. I know they got relegated. I would have been coming out of a relegated Premier League team. Instead, I went back to Luton. Luton got relegated, so I went from the Premier League to League One. Yeah. In 6 months, less than that, 4 months, 5 months. So yeah, so it's a bit of that's probably the biggest regret in football that I've got actually. Yeah. Not staying at Watford, because I'm just one of those. He told me he didn't want me, so I thought I'll move on. So I should have just stayed there really. Stuck it out. Yeah, because players are around longer than managers these days, aren't they? Yeah. So I should have just stuck that out a little bit. Yeah. Just sat there and see what happened. You never know in football. Especially a week's a long time in football. Do you know what I mean? Somebody could have got injured. You never know. So yeah, I was a bit hasty really, to leave. But he said he didn't want me, or he wasn't. I could leave. So
talk us through when you played against Man United in that first couple of games in the Premier League and got robbed by Ryan Giggs on a little turn.
Well, no, the story's not actually true, and you can't see it. This is not. So I get done. I've got a 15-year-old son, so his school mates love it. So they do media at school and shit like that, and they put it up on YouTube. And like the teacher's like, "Who's that, Ethan? You're meant to be doing someone famous. Like they've got to pick someone to." And he's like, "Ask my dad." He's like, "Who's your dad?" He's there. He's there. That's him there. He's like, oh, so they go through this. So they worked on this Man United thing. So it's a foul. I'm telling you, 100%. Darren Fletcher fouls me. Seriously, I'm facing this way. And we're going that way. I'm facing that way. So I turn. He just clicks my heel. And as I run back to play back to my goalie, Ryan Giggs has nipped in there, gone round Ben Foster and scored.
Oh, so you were with Ben Foster and everything, man.
Yeah.
What was he like?
So he went round. Yeah. So he went round bit. So it's my kids give me the most stick for that, or my kids' mates. Sorry, give me the most stick for that one.
It's Ryan Giggs though, isn't it?
Oh, they were a proper Premier League team.
It's Ryan Giggs.
They were good then as well.
I wouldn't be too hard on it's Ryan Giggs.
Oh, Ronaldo, the whole team was a joke. Yeah. When you look at that Man United team, it was.
When you're playing like a giant like that, do you just go into games thinking, let's just not try and get fucking absolutely slaughtered? Like, do you get like, what is your actual feelings going in?
I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? It's a weird one. You don't really think that you're going to go in there do you really think you're going to go and win at United away or the Emirates away? Do you know what I mean? Arsenal away? I don't know. You don't really think he's probably one of them. He's just trying to keep the score down, I suppose.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think when you're playing good, it's just a learning curve, isn't it? Just learning curve. It's like anything. You try and stay in the game as long as you can. And I'm talking about career-wise as well. You try and stay. When you get to the top, there's only one way to go, isn't there?
Yeah.
And I was just unfortunate and a bit unlucky that I didn't get a fair opportunity to play. Look, there's 10 games go and play. All in all, I only played 7. I think that was with subs. I think I only started 4. So, yeah.
And it's choppy. It's not, like you said, it's not a run. You're not really getting
that's
a
what I
run.
mean. If you'd have said to me, look, there's 10 games, you're going to play every game or whatever, and if you can't do it, fair enough. But when I'm playing, I'm playing once a month. I'll play one game and then playing, like the cup games in the midweek and stuff like that. So
it's annoying because fans are never going to understand anyway, are they? But it's just annoying because it's like same with Van der Beek at Man United. Like, how can he reach his full potential if he's playing once a month? You're not even really match fit, are you?
Of course you're not.
It's just like
you're
not
playing
sharp.
You're playing catch up, and there's probably more pressure on you doing that. Because everyone's thinking, he's this player. Like, let's see it. And it's like same with Dele Alli right now. Look at Dele Alli in it right now. He's the same.
It's just a massive confidence game, isn't it, football?
He can't go in and just play 20 minutes. And I think he did come on last year, 20 minutes and done quite well. And everyone's like, he's back.
Yeah.
And started the next game, it was horrendous.
Well, he had that really good game for Tottenham, didn't he, under Mourinho? Like, really good game. And it was like, Mourinho's going to get the best out of him. Next week, bench. Next week, bench.
That's what I mean. Like, so it's hard. It is hard. And like you say, I think consistency and confidence is the biggest thing in football.
I think personally as well, I don't know, you probably agree or disagree, creative players suffer a hell of a lot more as well. So your wingers, your number 10s, your forwards, because they have to get into a flow. They have to get into a confidence of trying things and feeling invincible, because that's where they see and do things that take our breath away. But you don't do that when what you're looking at Jadon Sancho and people like that, he's trying too hard now. And it's a flow state. It's a kind of, the game's working in slow motion. But when you're trying to prove something wrong, it's frenetic. You still got that same ability, but you're trying to rush it because you're desperate to show everyone how good you are, desperate to prove a point. But when you know you're going to play, it just happens. You know, there's that, and that's why the Neymars and all these kind of invincibles or undroppables, it's why they can have a few bad games, because he knows he's going to keep playing. He's going to play 50 games a season, and then he'll play himself back into form. He's got loads and loads of time to do that, and that beautifulness comes out again. So I'm with the Dele Allis, the Van der Beeks, like. I think if you bring them in, and you pay massive money for them, you've got to give them 20, 30 games.
Yeah. I think it's different though, because some managers are different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like with team, you do maybe team shape on a Friday, and you kind of know you were in the team, which you go home and I'm in the team, I'm playing tomorrow. But in some, you get in at 1:30, and you still wouldn't know. You still wouldn't know the team, so you have to sit down. You're still waiting, so you. Not that you can't
even get prepared.
Mentally, normally you prepare. Well, I'd have prepared the same way, no matter what, if I knew or if I didn't know. But mentally, I think it's so much better if you know what's.
Yeah,
coming.
but that's even like me now, even Sunday League.
So,
if I get told, if I've been playing up front every game and I get told I'm playing right wing on the day, I'm going into the game annoyed because I'm like,
that's what I'm
if
saying.
you would have told me yesterday, I can just
you just process that a bit more. And that's what I mean. I think sometimes that's what you're talking about, managing people or just pulling certain people need to be told.
Yeah. And
even if they go and tell, I'm playing tomorrow, I know I'm playing, but anyway. But yeah, I think sometimes it's difficult going in on a Saturday morning at 1:30, and you don't know if you're playing or not.
Most of my anxiety as a player, when my confidence dropped away, was exactly because of that.
Yeah.
So when I played under Lenny Lawrence and John Moore, I was playing. I was in the team. Even then, I never had the confidence. Matthew was one of those that he could come in. You go in at 1:00 because he would always be in early. He'd be changing his kit. I'm still hanging around. I don't even know. I'm not confident I'm in the squad. So I would never get changed. And you have to look, your name started coming on shirts. Right, my name's up. Oh, I must be in the squad because my shirt's out. But I still never had that confidence that I was certainly not going to be starting. Never ever confident I was going to start. Never massively confident I was going to be on the bench. There was only one season I really felt like I was going to play the whole time, and that was the best season I had. Every time after that, there was this gut-wrenching anxiety that I don't even know where I stand now. And that was from Friday, team shape, and they kept changing it. Oh, I'm in the team 1 minute, or I'm trying to guess. And it builds and builds and builds. And that nervous energy coming into Saturday, it was awful, you know. And when you get told you're not, or you're not, when you're in the stand, and you've got to walk back out the room, you know, you've prepared, you've got in, everyone's in, you're sitting in the corner room, he announces the squad, you're like, and the first 11, you're just like, they haven't even pulled you aside sometimes, you know, prepared you for it. And then they want, next week when you're starting.
Yeah, but when we started as well, we only had 3 subs and stuff like that. So, like, nowadays you get a squad of 20, didn't you?
Yeah.
So everyone's in the bloody squad. But nowadays, back in the day then, the squad was tiny.
Yeah.
Like the actual on match day squad was
What happens
tiny.
when you turn up and you're not in the squad? You just go sit in the
Sit in the
stand.
stand.
Go and have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Kind of walk out dejected,
Yeah,
kind
you've
of
done all
tail
that,
between legs.
preparation.
Yeah,
and
you've
then-
trained all week. Yeah.
So they wouldn't tell you.
The
at
better
training and
managers
just not
do.
bring you.
Some of them do. Again, everyone's got their different
Well,
strategy.
it all depends. Yeah, I know. Yeah, where we've travelled with 3, and 3 are sat out away. So you've travelled to a away game with 3 sitting in the stand.
I'll tell you one of the worst ones. You get to an away game, you've stayed overnight, you get to the pitch the day before, so you get into your football, the change room, kit man's putting the kit out, everyone goes and walks on the pitch, right? You're walking on the pitch. As you're walking on the pitch and
that
enjoying
pull.
the stadium,
You get that
yeah,
pull.
you get the pull.
You get that
You
pull.
get the pull by the manager.
Look, can I just have a little word?
Come here, can I have a word, please? Oh, your heart sinks. Yeah, not picking you today. Feel that this. You ain't even got time to argue.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, everyone's out warming, looking at the pitch, getting ready for the game, and you just go, oh my God. And then you have to go up into the stands and just watch. And that happened to me. That happened to me in the middle of a dressing room without even getting pulled. And at the time, I was doing really well. I started trying to fight the manager in the changing room.
Yeah.
Because the boys were saying it to me all day. Do you remember at QPR away? The boys were winding me up. Oh, no, you're not starting. They hadn't told me. In the hotel in West London, we're playing in the
Were
cup.
they just winding you up, or did they know already?
No, there was little rumours or whatever,
yeah.
right? But no one had said anything to me. And we're in the hotel. Yeah, Georgie, I don't think you're playing. I'm like, nah, of course. I've been playing the last few weeks. I've been scoring. I've been fine. But yeah, and they're winding me up. And lads are like that. We're just having a bit of fun. Announces the team at Loftus Road. I'm not in the team. Oh, I'm fuming. Fuck this. I'm out of here. I've had enough.
Tell them the best bit of the story, though. Tell them
So-
the best bit.
so
the best bit of the story still
I
to come.
storm out of the dressing room. I go into the corridor. The assistant manager, who was my youth team manager, comes out of the corridor, grabs me. He says, "Get your pissing ass back in there." I'm like, "No, John."
He was Scottish, by the way. That's a Scottish accent,
Yeah.
by the way.
No,
Just let you know. He weren't Welsh.
I don't know what accent
Oi.
that was. That was mad.
He's strong-arming me in the tunnel, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to move, and I can't move anywhere. He's got me on toast, right?
John Moore was probably 75
Yeah,
at the
he was,
time.
he was old, and he's just manhandling me. Get your ass back in there, new. You're a part of this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. I'm going. He made me go back in, right? And the first thing the manager said to me, looked me dead in the eye. This was Lil Chillo, and he goes, "Well, are you with us or not?" Now, bear in mind, that's just I am raging. What do I do? And do you know what? What makes it worse? I couldn't make this up.
This is the best bit.
The lad that played, Lee Mansell, good lad, top man, scored in 90 seconds.
We
in
won
90
the lap in the
seconds,
first 2 minutes
Scored in
and he
90
scored.
seconds. I'm on the bench. Watch the manager. Just smiled at me.
Oh, but they're like it's good competition, but it kind of breeds unhealthy competition. But football's like that.
But he hasn't managed me
Now
properly.
you might sit there and be like, I hope he doesn't play well. I hope this. I
No,
hope that. Do you know what I mean?
listen, I wouldn't do that to my friend. It was the manager I had to. And even
Yeah.
worse, the game went on, right? And in extra time, went to extra time. This was the end of my career at Luton, really. It spiraled from there. At the end of extra time, 5 minutes of extra time, he goes, "Get warm, you're going on." And I said, "Piss off, don't wind me up." He said, "Go and get warm, you're going on." I went, and his manager, his assistant was Kevin. It was Kevin and John, wasn't it? Remember the guy from Northampton? And he's whispered in his ear, "No, you've used all the subs." So he was trying to put me on. They'd used all their subs. So again, I knew the subs were used.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's taking the absolute mick out of me. I can't go on anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and he's gone, "Well, I'm not. What you talk to your mate, because you've used your subs, you idiot."
Yeah.
So I've endured this disrespect, 90 minutes, goals, sitting there, and I swear to God, I am so low. And then,
We won, though.
no, you didn't. No, we lost 2-1, remember? We lost 2-1.
No, 3-2.
Columbia. 3-2, yeah.
3-2.
Yeah.
3-2, yeah.
And then
3-2.
I had to travel home. Worst, that was the worst day of my life football-wise.
But this is what people don't understand about football. There's so much layers involved with it, but everyone thinks, oh, but you get paid a lot, so you should be able to withdraw that. Oh, you should be able to withstand that. Oh, you should be able to get over that. Everyone's still a human at the end of the day. Like, you still got feelings, you still got emotion. Doesn't matter how much money you get given, that ain't gonna make you any happier or any worse. Do you know what I mean? But people just can't, and I think that's with everything in life at the minute. People just can't wrap their head around that. They think everyone's superhuman or supernatural, or money makes everything so much better.
Yeah, and that's the most ridiculous thing in the world for me, because again, it's all, what are they moaning for? They're getting paid 200 grand a week. Physiologically, you still can't recover quick enough.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you still, in 2 days of Champions League and all this, you still can't recover quick enough. So when their performances drop off, or they're moaning they're tired, because they are tired. Like you said, they're only human. And I think that we put so much pressure on everyone, and we just mismanage them because we think, right, money is the answer. It's all right. He should be all right because he's getting X amount of money. No, I was heartbroken. I was only 20, like you lot in this room. You know what I mean? I was devastated. Didn't know what to do with any of it. Didn't know how to think my way out of it. Didn't know how to reflect. Didn't know failure. And I have to pick myself back up from that and get myself back in the team and score. And I just never recovered. And my career after that, and actually, if you look at it, even that one day, I think it was January 2001, I think it might have been, my career just goes. And that was the kind of, I think, looking back, that was the tipping point of, up till that point, I was in a really loving, supporting environment. People gave me the confidence to go out and play, blah, blah, blah. That was the tipping point of my career after that. I never recovered from that.
It's weird because even like you two sit here now, you've had completely different careers.
Yeah.
Completely different. Like you seem like you seem like you were playing a lot more, and things like that might have not bothered you as much.
Yeah. I didn't really experience that at a younger age.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, so what was I said? So from 20, I think, I played until I was 24, week in, week out, give or take.
Yeah. And that helps you develop. That helps. Yeah, that's massive, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, without that. So, or if you're not playing and you're going out on, you still need to be loved. So people like Harry Kane obviously went out on loan X amount of times. So you can see, it's managing people. You know, you're not ready yet. And my job and a football's job is to protect people.
Yeah.
They're meant to be your mentors, you know, your managers. And this is one of the biggest things that in modern day football frustrates me, that you've got these amazingly talented footballers and we don't protect them. We don't look after them. We don't say, right, let us make decisions for you. It's almost survival of the fittest. How much can we beat you? How much can we like abuse you? And how much are you going to come through? Jadon Sancho's getting stick in the press. The poor lad, Gareth Southgate someone should help him.
Yeah.
So dropping him out of the England squad is the worst thing you can do, because someone needs to help him through a bad patch. Rashford's the same.
Yeah.
You know, you see it all over the place.
People just slate Rashford. Like 2 years ago, they were comparing him to Mbappe, and now they're like, he's shit, he's this, he's that. It's like, no, his confidence is shot
as well, though. Same as Lingard. You don't play. You can't.
Yeah, his confidence is shot. It's like clear to see his confidence is shot. It's not talent, because he's got the talent. Yeah. Same with Martial. I just think Martial's a bit lazy.
I think he's misunderstood. I don't think he's lazy because, again, no, there's too many metrics in the game today to suggest he's not lazy.
Yeah.
You get monitored all the time. He's just got a very aloof body language. He probably
a lazy body language. He's French, isn't he? They're all a bit like...
Yeah, some of them can
be
aloof.
Same as Richarlison. He's exactly the same. Richarlison's body language is terrible.
Yeah, they are.
And I think what you have to do sometimes, maybe he suits a different continent of football or different style of football, because here it's very high intensity. We reward people screaming, shouting, you know, sweating, passion on it, but that's not the only way to play the game. And it doesn't mean that Springy cares less than me because I'm verbal or my body language is negative. It just means that no one wants to lose a game of football. Richarlison doesn't want to play bad. Rashford doesn't want to. So literally you just don't understand how he's dealing with it in that moment. And I think we're probably a little bit too critical of people who we're actually seeing implode in real time. Yeah. And that's what sport does. In every sport, boxing, athletics, you can see people, you can see their soul drop out of them, you know. That's why we love it, because it's that visceral that you understand when you miss a penalty. You've missed a penalty at every level. You go, it's horrible. I've missed penalties at pro level. It's a worst feeling ever.
Yeah.
And that's why we love it, because scoring the penalty is just as good and you'll feel just as good. And sport does that. Sport gives you that really visceral feeling of, I know how he feels. Now, yeah, he's won in front of 80,000 people, Tyson Fury, but I'll get knocked out in Dunstable Leisure Centre out by all my mates. It's the same thing. It is the same dark place. When you're walking back to that changing room, Anthony Joshua felt like that when he got beat. Your mate doing white collar boxing, when he gets beat, will feel exactly the same. And that's why we love sport, because it gives you that feeling of that I know exactly what he's going through, both good and bad.
So why did you both not take up coaching or anything like that and stay around football?
I give it a go. I never thought, when I was doing, I thought that's not for me. But then I got out of it, done Hemmel's. Hemel, I was playing at Hemel at the time, and then they started up an academy. So they asked me if I'd do that. So I'd done that for 2 years, and that was really good. I enjoyed it. The kids were really good. So from 16 to 18 they were. Then I got the opportunity to do the first team for 6 months at Hemel, which again was good. But I was doing personal training at the same time, so it kind of worked together. But I think for me, I just needed a proper direction, one or the other. I was juggling both, and the football thing kind of died off, and here I am now doing this, which I love doing, so it's good. Worked out all right for me in the end.
So was personal training something you always wanted to do, or did you just come out and think, this is what I know, let me put people through it?
It's a different side of being out of the football. So I only got out of the football really because I was talking about this the other day. It wasn't up to me. It's not up to me. My destiny's not in my own hands. If I send a team onto the pitch, they've got to fight. It's them, and if I'll be the one getting the sack. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not living my life like that. I ain't one of them people. I'm just nice and easy.
Control what you can control.
Control the controllables, mate. I'm on that like nice level. I'll just do this job that I like. We get on really well. Everyone in here is great. So that's me. I don't want no up and downs. Just keep it nice and simple.
And then same for you.
Yeah, I walked away a lot early because again, probably he was obviously his career came to a natural end. Mine was more like I got to take some control back. I cannot have people so subjective making judgments on my life. My confidence was gone. My love of the game. I think I've said this to you in the last podcast. You know, I was just like, I need some control. You know,
but that's why I thought you would have been someone who might have wanted to coach young kids or help people, because you might know what they're going through and what they need. If they need an arm around the shoulder, if they. But
the problem is the system's broken. Football's broken, so it's bigger than me. And I have this discussion with professional footballers today. I love the game of football. I don't like the politics of football. I don't like the culture in football. I don't like the way you can't protect. So yeah, I might be able to protect 2 or 3 boys under my care, but I'm still going to see. I walk the dog and I watch parents, under 9s, under 10s. It's so toxic. Yeah, it's terrible. Every level of football. I'm watching Sunday League. I'm hearing refs getting beaten up. You know, and people and people fighting and pulling out knives. The football, the actual game or sport generally is a beautiful thing. You can learn failure, winning, success, happiness, camaraderie, communication. But everything around any sport, when there's money involved or when there's egos involved, is toxic. And unfortunately, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to be in an environment where only good things are happening. Only positive thoughts when people are uncomfortable, it's because we're managing that discomfort, like an ice bath, like a failure set of reps, you know, like an increased heart rate. They're beautiful things to mess around with. Not people's feelings, not people's futures. Do you know what I mean? Not people's lives away from here. It's just terrible. And I think at every level of sport, as soon as there's money involved in it, that's what happens. So I was like, I don't need to do that. Culturally over here, the game is terrible. You're getting 6-year-olds getting 1-to-1 coaching, for God's sake. Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't. Just not for me. I don't think. Let a 6-year-old be a 6-year-old. Let them play if they're good enough. Like I said, 15. I went to Luton at 14. So there's loads of different outcomes, but parents are now hedging bets on if I have this 1-to-1 training, and if he does this, because they're getting sold on fear.
Yeah.
And the academies though, that's all the academies are.
Oh, they're
just
terrible.
Money makers.
Yeah, they are.
Just money makers.
Well, Luton had that centre of excellence, they were just keeping people.
Boreham Wood. Apparently, they had 400 on their college thing. They paid for the first team. Paid for the budget for the first team. They had 400 boys or something on their college course at Boreham Wood, and the money just went up to the all the parents have got to pay for kit. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, yeah, that was like with the Centre of Excellence.
It just
It was
goes-
like hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
three
every
levels.
couple
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Like for kit.
Yeah, for kit.
It's just like you
Yeah.
don't even need the new
No.
kit.
No, that's
Hundreds
it.
of
That's all it is.
pounds,
It's just a
yeah.
money maker, mate.
I say
and
just
then you
let
get,
us-
you get all them parents going, my son plays
Yeah,
for
and then-
Luton.
and then they get
my son
broke.
plays for Luton. And it's like, no, you don't. You pay for Luton.
Yeah.
You're putting money just into Luton's coffers. That's all you're doing. So your son doesn't play for Luton. He trained with a top on that's got a Luton badge on it. That's all it is.
Yeah, and
And
that's the
some people don't
disappointing
see
thing.
that.
I just say it really clear. I say to parents all the time, listen, if they're enjoying it and you can teach them things in there, great. But if you have to pay anything, your son's not playing for Luton. Because when you're in the academy, your kit's free. Your trips are free. You know, that means you're close to being an apprenticeship or a scholar or whatever they call it these days and close to the first team. Every other layer below that, pre-academy, COPEX, all the rest of it, are funding the boys in the academy.
Yeah. You're paying
As
for
long
the
as you're
other-
happy with
paying
that.
for the boys above.
But I don't want to see it on
Don't
my
lie.
timeline.
Yeah.
You're at Man City's training ground playing
Yeah.
their pre-academy because all you parents are paying for the facility. It's
Yeah.
the most expensive pitch ever because you took a day off work, you drove to the other side of the country, you've played on a nice bit of grass, but basically all of you parents have paid £1,000 to watch your kids play against kids from Manchester, on a fancy football pitch.
Yeah.
Because none of them, one might come through, but the academy boys are struggling to get through statistically. So what are the pre-academy and the COPEX boys? What's the reality? So make him a good human being, make him a lesson. If you are a good enough parent that you can say, you can use that as an anchor to do your schoolwork, learn to lose, learn to take critique, learn to be objective. Listen, it's great, but too many parents aren't doing that.
Yeah, but it's hard because parents don't even know that themselves. So it's hard to project it on their kids. Do you know what I mean? I'd say it's like 5 to 10% of us that are in that headspace.
That they know the pit. Yeah, but the parents just get too excited, don't they? They do. It's mad.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
5%. I think you're being
Yeah.
generous.
I have to,
I'm
because I
saying-
don't want to lose all hope
No,
for
it's
humanity.
all of them.
No, I
It's
think
all of
it's
them,
1
mate.
or 2%. I think you get the 1 or 2 dads per, let's say, 15 players that's got his head screwed on, or that's been in football, or sees the game, understands the dynamics, and like Rain said, that's what life is like. Everything should be a lesson, but your parents or your mentors or your manager, when you're young, should guide you through those lessons, and you should trust him enough to say, I don't like what he's saying, and I'm going to push back a little bit. But when I calm down and the adrenaline wears off and the ego goes to sleep, Dad was all right. Dad was right. Or, my mentor was right. Because, of course, at your age, you're going to push back. Because at 21, you know everything. I knew everything. Well, he probably didn't want to know anything. But good mentors and trust and love, wisdom guides you through. And you need that. Even at your age and Ray, I need it still. I still need guidance. I still push back. Well, I get business mentors tell me, well, you shouldn't do that, you should market more. Oh, what do you know? I know what I'm doing. My ego says that. And then I'm like, I've really got to do that a bit more. I'm terrible at that. And again, that's 1% of seek discomfort, seek growth, seek development. And no one's got trust and love around them enough to find that from people that aren't trying to take money off them. All right, come and do my mentorship. Give me 20 grand a year. What?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could buy Tony Robbins. Yeah, Tony Robbins, great. You have to pay a lot of money for him though. And is he really going to mentor? Is he going to give you a blueprint for general success, or is he going to give you your blueprint?
No, but that's when it comes to quickness.
I feel like everyone's success is different as well.
Yes.
Someone can sell you something, you have to find your own way.
Right.
Your sauce is going to be different to someone else's sauce. You might have to mix something else in it, put a little bit of black pepper or something.
Yeah, but that's why you.
Exactly the same.
But that's why you need a mentor who's got enough wisdom to give you the exposure, but let you come up with the ideas. And that's what the whole beauty of all of that is, whether it's parenting, management, mentorship, whatever. It's meant to be, right, I'll bring him there and let's see what he sees about that. Like, again, even this podcast, go in, find your way. Because if you try to be someone else, you're not going to be authentic. No. But you could take tips off, I don't know, Stephen Bartlett, Joe Rogan. Watch all of those. How do the best do it? How can I do it my way, with my personality and my spin? But there's an element of guidance there. But you shouldn't have to pay £20,000. It's ridiculous. You're getting robbed left, right and centre for a life coach. Come on. Life coach should be your mum or dad. Life coach should be uncle, or you're a businessman, or, it used to be our Sunday league manager.
But it's when it comes, people don't ask questions. People just want things quick. They want it done like that. Tony Robbins, if I follow what he does in a month, I'm going to be rich. No, you ain't.
We even have it in personal training all the time. Matthew will tell you this. You have people that flit around personal trainers until they hear what they want to hear. Because they don't want to hear consistency. They don't want to hear.
You got to work.
You got to work.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
For 6 months.
You got to do it. Yeah.
12 months.
Yeah. You've been fat for 15 years. You think it's going to come off in 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It ain't. There's the bottom line. Let's do it. You got to put the work in.
That one's off. That's off.
Yeah, the men's health covers.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Ridiculous.
And we're here, it's a journey. And again, you can start with 6 weeks, but it is a journey. And fundamentally, it's not easy. But we're here to help you. And again, if you need to make some people can make massive changes. Some people come in and you say, 150 grams of protein. Spring, you'll say, bang, I can do that. 1,800 calories, bang, I can do that. Train 6 times a week. Yes, I can do that. Others, I don't want to give up sugar. All right, don't give it up yet. Just come and train. Oh, training 5 times a week. I can do 2. All right, fine, do 2. Because as long as you're doing...
Do I have to give up alcohol? Yes, you do.
Yeah.
No, I can't do it.
But we have to be realistic with people who are all different. So if we treated them in this cookie cutter kind of way, we've got loads of clients that love having a drink. We're understanding of that. It's fine, you're a human being. But please don't moan about not having a six-pack or being the body you want if that's what you're going to do. We're not going to make you feel bad. We love you. And we're here because there's so many other benefits to training, both mentally and physically. But fundamentally, don't say one thing. We'll give you the plan and then expect to... It's hard. It's horrible. It's a grind. But that's life. And I think there's too many people, like you said, quick fix, quick answers. Or leave him after 6 weeks, go to another trainer. They'll put him in a low-carb diet, get great results for 2 days. Oh, then they'll go to another one. Then they'll go to another one. And you just see them flit around because they don't really want to put in the hard yards.
And it comes back to the... Why are you creasing? Yeah, no, because you know when you get sucked in and you're like, yeah, that shit makes sense. The final question on the pod really is your most euphoric moment in life so far. It can be to do with football. It can be in... Don't say kids, because for some reason everyone who has a kid, like you said, you have a lot. Maybe we'll say just for football, your most euphoric moment in football so far.
So far, flipping out, you coming back?
Yeah, well, the top of the mountain.
The movement plays for five-a-side team.
Everyone says kids. You know, they come on, they're like, oh, I'm having my kid.
No,
But
I had to miss a game for that, so no. Mine's got to be getting promoted to the Premier League. It's got to be for a career high, I suppose. It's got
just the Premier League.
Yeah. I think
the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that's got to be that. Obviously, that summer he was away. Actually, I went to see him that summer. We had and that summer building up to that and what it entails. Obviously, as I said to you before, it didn't quite pan out for me. But that then 10 it was longer than that. Actually, I think we had something like 10 weeks off because we got to play a final and it kind of the Premier League was going 2 weeks later. I think we got something like 10 weeks off or 9 weeks off. So we had to go in, train a couple of days, and then I went out to Atlanta. Didn't I see you for 4 days?
Good fun.
And then we come back. And then we started training. So yeah, I'd say probably in football it's got to be that. And a few goals I've scored of do you know what I mean? Made other people happy, I suppose, more than me.
Yeah.
But,
Obviously me.
But
Humble brag.
Yeah, so yeah, probably a couple of goals and that day you can't take that day back. You know, when you win probably the biggest game in football. Do you know what I mean? Money wise as well. So yeah, to win that and win it comfortably as well. Win that game 3-0. You kind of know you're going up. Do you know what I mean? With probably 20 minutes to go. That was probably for some people that was the only downfall. But I'm not being funny. When you get to that, I don't care what I'm playing for.
Well, this is the guy. That's what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
He doesn't get excited about anything. I mean, it's absolutely it's not even humility.
That's probably why you were such a good player, though, because he's calm, composed. It doesn't bother you.
If I had to explain Springy, he just gets it done, mate. Anything he is one of those type of people that you give him the map and he goes and does it. I could tell him, eat this, he'll eat it. As long as it's something like obviously that's not bad for him, he doesn't eat chocolate, he doesn't eat dairy. But as long as it's within his scope of what he'll do, he'll just crack on. Me, moan, question, need to know the mechanics, the biomechanics, the he'll just crack on. And he's just been like that his whole life. He had the best debut I've ever seen at 17. And ask anybody that was in Luton's ground that day. 50 got sent off for a 2-foot tackle, smashed everyone. Like, considering it was a physical game we're talking 96, 97. It was the League One was like proper men.
Yeah.
Right, smashing tackle. He got sent off. Was it about 55, 60 minutes? Yeah, 2-footed the hell out of this older pro, took him up, got up, dusted himself down, took his red card, walked up the tunnel. Swear to God.
Yeah, but I think the only reason like you could this is when it comes into getting a bit bigger. Like youth team, where you could do that. There's no one there. You've only got your parents and a couple of others, and so nothing happens. But when you do a tackle like that, right in front of the dugout as well, both dugouts, because they're really tight on the other side at Luton. I don't know if you remember them, but they were like little holes in the ground. And it was right in front of both dugouts, and so it kind of kicked off a little bit.
Do you not think it was a red card then?
Would it have been nowadays? No,
in them days.
Nowadays, I'd have been arrested.
In them days.
But it was just a super. I won the ball. I won the ball was there, I suppose, maybe, but his ankle might have been behind the ball.
Yeah.
Lenny Lawrence. Oh, that's the best fucking debut I've ever seen. Can imagine coming. Springy. 17. Some of you need to be ashamed of yourself. Springy. He's dribbling and everything in the change room. It was absolutely hilarious. Oh, it was, and all of the youth team poured into the first team changing room.
Yeah.
Because obviously he was still a youth team player.
Yeah.
So we're all in the stands watching, and one of our boys, because the first team then, they were men, and you had to earn passage to even go in the changing room. So you weren't just allowed in there. If you went in, you get beaten up. You know, unless you go to the boot room, you keep your head down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was brutal. You had to earn your right of passage. And we got this one lad, comes walking in, smashes everyone up, embarrasses everyone, and we're like, the youth team has won this game. It's a victory for us. Because he's gone in, and the first team players were like, he's a player.
Yeah.
Like, there was just instant respect. And he walked in just like that. Well, let's bring... whatever. On the Monday, well, it's free. Whatever. Kick some more balls. Go and sleep in the afternoons. It was mad. We are more excited than he was. And that's the beauty of football. That it really is that your mates and all the rest of it are in it together, and you know it's so special.
Just get the job done.
I remember when Dougie made his debut as well. It was the same. Obviously,
He scored.
He scored.
Yeah,
he scored
yeah,
on his
yeah.
debut, Dougie, and we went out that night, and it was that was mad as well. But exactly the same feeling. Like you're so happy for someone else.
Look, he's as happy as he's been.
No, you are. You know, like
Talking about goals and what for promotion.
No, 'cause it was a good. No, because it was a good.
Dougie.
Good night though. That was a good night. I remember that. It was a good night.
30 years of football. Dougie.
Most euphoric moment when he was smiling.
That's probably the only thing I remember actually about my youth team days. But no,
Dougie.
good goal as well.
And Dougie's on television now, so Dougie's doing absolutely bits.
Yeah.
He's on the Channel 4 stuff, and he's top man. So if you know him, tune into Worst House on the Street and Flip Him Fast.
Yeah.
Dougie's top man. Yeah, really good guy.
No, but I think that any questions for any of you? No, wrapped up.
Oh,
I think with one last question actually.
I know what he's going to say.
No, I'm not.
Who's the best player you played against? No. Don't say that one. Change it.
That was boring, isn't it?
No,
Yeah.
but it was going to be. Do you struggle? Like, I struggle to watch football now because I just think the way the game's gone and the softness of everything,
hard, isn't it?
It's hard to watch it.
The only reason, I think that's because you're not allowed to go and win the game. People don't want to go. Back in the day when the Premier League was good, both teams wanted to win the game. Now you'll either get one not wanting to win the game or both not wanting to win the game, and they just pass the ball sideways, backwards, and the entertainment's gone out of the game. That's why everyone says it's the best. It's not. It's the richest league in the world. It ain't the best league in the world. No, I don't think.
What, the Premier League? Yeah,
it's not the best. You don't get me wrong. We'll get every 6 weeks. We'll get one good game. We'll get Man City, Liverpool. That's the only two. That's the only game I think I'd sit and really think. Right, Super Sunday's coming. I want to watch this one. Because it's them two.
Because even like the derbies, North London derbies, Manchester
Gone.
derby, Man United, Liverpool.
Gone.
There's no... Because I remember the John Terry days. Like, because obviously when we were growing up, it would have been Ronaldo, John Terry, sort of Robin Van Persie.
Proper games.
And now it's like... done. Like it's done. Like watching football's hard sometimes. I'm like, this is embarrassing.
Well, the problem is, I think, as good as the managers, the modern day managers, we talk about Pep and we talk about Jurgen and we talk about some of the others. I just think it's just all very well drilled football teams. There's no individual brilliance. There's no personalities. If you look at their systems, football is just systems now. Liverpool have got a very distinct system of play. They score goals very similar all the time. Man City are the same. You're not seeing, like you said, personal battles of Ashley Cole versus Ronaldo. Back in the day, that alone was entertainment for Super Sunday. You're not seeing John Terry or Didier Drogba bullying Senderos and people like that. You're not seeing people desperate to win a game of football. You're seeing two systems go up against another, which is why actually Tottenham beat Man City last year. It wasn't the fact they're better players. It's the fact that system works against that team. So that's the only... And they beat them twice. So it's like chess, football now. It's just got well-drilled people in well-drilled holes. And if you're going to do your job, you're going to get in the team. And if you do something okay, great. But they're all, I don't want to say robots, but you don't see any beauty anymore. You don't see no flair. Your Champions League, like latter stages, you're not seeing anything takes your breath away. And players that, like Ndombele at Spurs, they don't play long enough because you're not running around.
Yeah.
You know, he's unbelievably gifted, but you don't run around, so you're not playing. You know, I'd rather put Mason Mount in
Harry
there.
Winks.
Yeah, Harry Winks or whatever. And if you ever talk to people that play football and train, you'll always hear names of people training that you've never seen on a football pitch, but they are by far the best footballers because they never get to play because they don't run or they don't do the miles and the numbers, and it's terrible. And that's it is what it is, but I think that's the depth of the game, and everyone's just a technically nice footballer and very efficient. Efficient's the word I'd use for football now. It's efficient.
And I could be opening up a loophole here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do you have the same opinion on him with steroids in the game and performance enhancing? Obviously, the Liverpool stuff come out with the asthma and the drugs they use, same drugs as Bradley Wiggins used. Do you have that opinion about football, that a lot of the bigger teams could be using performance enhancers, or even the smaller teams?
Well, I think he sends me pictures of, you saw the Bayern Munich boys.
They get jacked out, don't they?
How big they've got. So I think it starts over and it's crept in. I think from here we've gone over, or them doctors and them have come over to this side of it and tried and shown us a way of trying to do stuff differently.
Hey, you know them Germans always been doing.
Yeah. So I think it's So I think it's a different.
Them Germans always got them scientists, man.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't think they're the same kind of peptides or structures that maybe the other sports are taking. My biggest argument, or my biggest discussion point, and people might call me, is I don't get why every other sport does it. Every other sport. Broke cyclists do it, for God's sake. You know, football is the biggest game in the world, the biggest product. You're talking NFL players getting popped all the time. NBA players, rugby players just die out of the blue, you know, randomly at 35. You're like, why has he just died? I'm not saying people don't die, but I'm just saying every sport, athletes getting done all the time, right?
Why would they not?
Cyclists. So we've got the most amount of money, the biggest, most at stake, the biggest product worldwide. Also, when you look back at the smokescreen and mirrors of Inter Milan team, the Juventus team, and the managers, and that's what I sent to you. I said, well, you look at the managers that got implicated at the time when Juventus got questioned in 1996. Zinedine Zidane was a manager. Didier Deschamps was a manager. Oh, player, sorry. Antonio Conte was in that team. You know, Pep Guardiola got done when he went to Italy. You know,
using the same doctor he uses now for his football team.
So fundamentally, I just think they are using substances that are far past the testers. They will never ever get found out. But if people don't think that a 9 to 10 month schedule of football flying all around the planet, international games, Champions League, Premier League games,
60 odd games, isn't it? 60 odd games a season now. If
you're
a top
12
player,
to 15k
plus
running.
internationals, internationals as well,
and your sponsorship responsibilities. You don't get days off. You know, I just can't see how it's. Physiologically, if there's a physiologist out there that can explain Even glycogen, right? Even in our day, and this is a known fact, when you're glycogen depleted, which means when you run out of carbohydrates, and that takes about an hour to 2 hours, it takes 48 hours for the body to fully replenish. So fundamentally, it's why you play Saturday, Tuesday, right? But you're going to diminish testosterone playing Saturday, Tuesday. And they've proven that with basketballers. I think they tested a group of 20-year-old basketballers. And this is a study, and I'll happily send it to anyone. And literally, they were on the road, and after 3 months, a 20-year-old's testosterone went down to the levels of a 70-year-old. So fundamentally, you're saying, well, Premier League most played game, you know, what a schedule. How are they doing it? Years in, year out. Mane didn't have 2 weeks off over 5 years. Why do you think he's going to Germany? Bit more longevity on his career, probably better plan.
Yeah.
Why do you think players go to Italy? Right?
250 grand helps a week.
Well, yeah, of course it does. But if you look at most players plus 30,
I think that helps.
another just discussion.
That private jet as well.
Yeah, and people can get back at me. Look at Italy. Loads of players that were dead in the Premier League. We go, oh, he's got no legs. Have gone to Italy plus 30, and they've been unbelievable. Edin Dzeko, Giroud, new lucid life. Kolarov. You know, look at these players. Couldn't run over
Ashley
here.
Young, Victor
Ashley
Moses.
Young, Alexis Sanchez. You know, Vidal goes back there every year for a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, he does.
He comes and goes.
He's running low, isn't he? He's running low. He
does.
runs low,
He
comes
does.
back.
He actually does.
Zlatan keeps going back.
Yeah.
You know, so fundamentally, you've got to say to yourself,
Lukaku.
You've got to look at these people and you've got to go, well, why are they doing that? Can't be for the Italian football. It's just straight. And then you see them in Champions League and they're playing unbelievable. Just questions. And if someone can answer them for me, I just don't see in our world how that can be possible.
Yeah. I think we'll leave it with that, won't we? Yeah. Obviously, thank you for coming on. It's been a wicked episode.
It's all right.
Obviously, we're at the
Nice.
yeah, it's already after the setup.
I'll buy myself a watch.
No one wanted to help me set up.
Yeah,
But,
we'll gift you a watch for next
Yeah.
time. Maybe with an
Yeah.
alarm.
but people, we hope you've enjoyed the episode. Obviously, I'll link everything below your Instagram,
Thank you
the
very much.
movement place, because obviously that's where it's being hosted today.
Live.
Yeah, live and
In colour.
direct.
Like,
But yeah, it's
Thank
been
you very
another
much.
episode
Thanks,
of the
gents.
Curious
Thanks for having
Fijian.
us.
Yeah, thank you.
Peace.
I want Rain's job. I want Rain's job.